It's been quite a while since we got DPS units with a wide variety of playstyles depending on your choice of teammates after version 3.0, and Lucy brings that refreshing experience that we've been lacking in the game for quite some time because she gives you the freedom to pair her with any sub DPS unit that provides heavy attack damage amplification like Mortefi, Rebecca, and even Frolova, with a lot of options for universal buffers as well, including Verena, Monnier, and Shorekeeper. So Lucy is very forgiving when it comes to team building, regardless of the type of account that you might have. In today's video, I'm going to break down Lucy's kit to make it very easy to understand how she works, best build, teams, rotations, and how much of a damage decrease you should expect in her non-business slot teams to help you decide if you should pull or not. Keep in mind that every footage used in this video was captured on the creator server, so some things may be subject to change upon official release. Without further ado, let's get right into it.
Time to crack some ice. Neural overload.
Lucy's playstyle. In her default state, you can use basic attacks to regenerate these yellow 40 stacks, and if you use her default skill, you'll gain some yellow stacks right here as well. And if you use the enhanced skill that becomes available right after casting the default one, the yellow stacks will transform into pink stacks where she regenerates additional pink stacks over time. The amount of pink stacks regenerated after using the enhanced skill is not that much to help you do damage quickly, so you'll need to intro with Lucy instead. Press her default skill and the enhanced skill, and you'll see that the enhanced one will generate a lot of pink 40 stacks right here. Now before we proceed, you can see that the intro skill applied this stack on the enemy right here called hack shifting, which is very similar to tune rupture shifting. If you tune break with Lucy or Rebecca while an enemy has this applied on them, and keep in mind that only Rebecca and Lucy can apply them, you'll do the normal physical damage or tune break damage and a corresponding spectral damage from Lucy and electro damage from Rebecca considered as hack damage. Now let's proceed with her playstyle. After using the skill 2 times, basic attack once and hold your basic attack button to fully fill her pink stacks. When the pink stacks are full, it turns into these white stacks right here, and a new skill will become available. Using it will put Lucy in a new state and applies hack shifting. In this state, simply press basic attack 4 times, hold your basic attack button, and basic attack while she's in midair to complete the combo. Once that's done, her ultimate will turn red, and casting it will stop time and give you options to choose buffs that you want Lucy to give to the entire team and do some damage as well in the process. The TLDR is to hold your jump button, and Lucy will automatically spend points to do damage and get these buffs in a linear order. After holding your jump button, the liberation will nuke the enemy and the corresponding team-wide buffs will be shown on the enemy right here. Now let's dive a bit deeper into what exactly her liberation offers aside from the huge damage that it does. Every option selected will cost you points, and Lucy starts off with 24 points at S0. The first one costs you 2 points, and it extends the ultimate's field of view, so Lucy can mark more enemies to send to the afterlife. The second one costs 4 points, and it allows enemies to take 5% more team-wide damage. The third one costs 4 points, and it shreds enemy defense by 5% for 30 seconds for all teammates. The fourth one costs 5 points, and it allows Lucy to do spectral damage to all marked enemies considered as heavy attack damage. The fifth one does hack damage to marked enemies and reduces their attack by 5% for 30 seconds. The sixth one gives you a chance to ignore the marked enemy's attacks for 30 seconds. I have no idea the percentage chance, and it's not stated anywhere in her kit description. The seventh one reduces the marked target's vibration strength, but is only effective against smaller enemies. Now, with 24 points that Lucy gets at S0, it means that she can activate up to the 5th one, and this is very important even at the beginning of your rotations, because the 5% more damage taken by all enemies and the defense shred can help her teammates do more damage even in the first rotation. But this is a double-edged sword because some teammates like Verena and Mortefi can be so fast that her ultimate will still be on cooldown when you really need it. So only use the ultimate at the beginning of the first rotation when your choice of teammates does not include fast units like Verena and Mortefi. Team building. I tested 9 different variations of her team choice in End State Matrix and calculated the damage loss using the team points system. So keep in mind that this is an evaluation of the team's overall strength, not just Lucy. I'm gonna mention the team and the damage loss to keep this guide snappy, but I'll make a dedicated video breaking down why each team scored the points that they had. First place goes to S1 Monnier, Rebecca, and Lucy with a damage loss of 0% because that's the team that every team was compared to, and it's Lucy's current best in slot. Second place goes to S4 Verena, Rebecca, and Lucy with a damage loss of just 0.03% because Verena doesn't need the intro skill, so Lucy's ultra buff can always be given to Rebecca for more damage. Third place goes to Shorekeeper, Rebecca, and Lucy with a damage loss of 5.9%. Fourth place goes to S1 Monnier, Yuno, and Lucy with a damage loss of 10.7%. Fifth place goes to Shorekeeper, Yuno, and Lucy with a damage loss of 11%. Sixth place goes to S4 Verena, Yuno, and Lucy with a damage loss of 15.6%. Seventh place goes to S4 Verena, Mortefi, and Lucy with a damage loss of 23.6%. 8th place goes to Shorekeeper, Mortefi, and Lucy with a damage loss of 25.63%. And finally, the last place or 9th place goes to S1 Monnier, Mortefi, and Lucy with a damage loss of 28.47%. Look forward to a full breakdown of these scores very soon on the channel. Now let's cover her build. For weapons, all other alternatives were compared to her signature weapon as a baseline. If you can't get her signature weapon, her best alternative will be Galbrena's signature weapon. All you need is to cast her Echo skill when she enters the state where she regenerates orange 40 stacks, and Lucy will gain 24% heavy attack damage amplification for 6 seconds, which is more than enough to do damage from her main damage sources. You'll encounter a damage loss of 12.9% with Galbrena's signature weapon. Phasic Homogenizer should be the third priority in terms of damage, and it will encounter a damage loss of 22.5%. If you don't have Monnier to provide off-tune build-up rate, it'll perform even worse because you need to tune break every rotation to get the 20% all attribute damage bonus at hour 1 before Lucy starts doing damage. Fourth priority will be Carlotta's signature weapon with a damage loss of 26%. Finally, Static Mist will be the worst option with a damage loss of 30.6%. For her echoes, go with 2-piece Celestial Light, 2-piece Rite of Gilded Revelation, and 1-piece Shadow of Altered Dreams in your main slot. The focus will be crit rate or crit damage depending on the substat of your weapon. So if it's crit damage, go for crit rate and vice versa. 3 cost will be double spectral damage bonus and 1 cost will be double attack percentage. Substats priority should be crit rate, crit damage, and heavy attack damage bonus. Target at least 120% energy regen because Lucy is very good at regenerating resonance energy. Talent priority should be liberation, normal attacks, forte circuit, skill, and intro skill. Rotations. I'll be covering the rotation for the best in slot team. Here are the builds that I'll be using on all teammates. Since this team does not feature any highly concerto efficient units like Verena and Mortefi, I'll be using Lucy's ultimate or liberation at the beginning of the rotation to apply the buffs that I mentioned earlier. Then press her skill 2 times to regenerate her forte stacks, swap to Monnier, basic attack until her forte stacks are full, hold basic attack, skill, and hold basic attack until she uses her forte circuit to apply her buff. cast her Liberation, Echo Skill, and Intro to Rebecca. The Intro will apply hack shifting just like Lucy. Basic attack 3 times, skill, hold basic attack, and let go immediately when you see that her forte bar is full. Cast her Liberation and keep pressing basic attacks to increase the firing rate until her concerto energy is full. Intro with Lucy, press skill 2 times, hold basic attack, skill, basic attack 4 times, hold basic attack again, and press basic attack in midair to complete the combo. Cast our Liberation and make sure that the enemies are in your field of view. Hold your jump button to nuke the enemy and intro to Monnier. Since Monnier does not allow you to swap out to Lucy to use her default skill before the Lucy intro from Rebecca like we did in the first rotation, just stick with the playstyle that I covered in this guide for the subsequent rotations. So the point I'm trying to make is that when playing Monnier, Rebecca, and Lucy, you can only use this enhanced skill twice in the first rotation, but once in the subsequent rotations. For those that will be using other sustained units like Showkeeper, you can always swap back to Lucy from Showkeeper after every rotation to use Lucy's enhanced skill before you intro from your sub DPS to Lucy and use it again to speed up your rotations. Sequence explanations. As always, S1 is highly recommended if you're a very casual player due to the anti-interruption that it provides. When Lucy casts an intro skill, her attack is increased by 20%. S1 also allows her to transfer the buffs that she applies from her ultimate to another wave of enemies when the previous ones that had those icons are defeated. This is highly recommended for Whimpering Wastes. S2 gives you 32 points after casting her Liberation, which makes it possible to get all the buffs that the ultimate provides. Casting this enhanced skill allows Lucy to deal an extra damage considered as heavy attack damage with a 450% damage multiplier. When this damage is dealt to an enemy, it applies all the buffs from her ultimate, so you don't need to cast her ultimate at the beginning of the first rotation like we did in the rotation section of this video. This damage right here from pressing basic attack after a heavy attack is buffed significantly with an increased multiplier of 560% instead of 270%, which is absolutely insane. S2 is her best early sequence that I highly recommend because that's when all her major problems are solved. S3 is overkill because this huge damage multiplier from her Liberation is increased by an additional 50% of that multiplier, and at S0 is already hitting 700k in the first and second floor of the middle tower. All the hack damage that she does, including the one from Tune Breaking and the one from her ultimate, receives an increased multiplier of 65%. S4 provides 20% all-type damage bonus to all her teammates. S5 provides sustained capabilities, but is more of a nuisance per my testing. Lucy can automatically dodge and ignore incoming attack once every 8 seconds if she does not take any hits within those 8 seconds duration, but it can really mess up your rotations when you're in the middle of casting a skill, for example, which cancels the effect. S5 basically allows her to trigger that passive more often and allows her to gain a shield when her health drops below 50%. You don't need this if you have a healer on your team. S6 makes enemies take 40% more heavy attack damage and 60% more hack damage from Lucy when they are inflicted with hack shifting from her skills or intro skill. That'll be all for my Lucy character breakdown. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to help support the channel. Our Discord link will be in the pinned comment if you're having any issues with Withering Waves, interested in a free account review, or you want a place to chill or hang out. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.